Okay guys, this is the task 1, which says create a function that creates a file. So we want to just simply create a file, but we are not just creating a file. If you look at the prototype, we have that it's going to create a file, right? It's going to collect the file name, right? And then the content, right? A character pointer to the content of that will be pasted into the file, right? So if you look at it again, we have our file name. So where file name is the name of the file to create, right? And text content is a null terminated string to write to the file, right? So I think null terminated meaning that it stops at with a null, right? So it should return 1 once it's successfully created, or -1 on failure. File cannot be created, file cannot be written. Oh, file cannot be created, file cannot be written. Write fails, etc. Okay, the created file must have this permission: read, write, and no execute. And then these ones, so we can use the for these ones we can use 0, right? 000 read, write. This is 110 110 in binary. I think that should be 6, right? So we'll give it permission of 600. And if the file already exists, do not change the permission. So if it already exists, do not change the permission. So all these things are just if problems, right? So if the already file exists, truncate it. Okay, so if the file we are creating is going to exist before, we should truncate it. If the file name is null, you should return -1. That is, if the file name does not exist, as we did it in the last one. And if text content is null, you should create an empty file. Just create an empty file. Okay, so to do that, I've not connected to my Wi-Fi, so I'm going to connect to my Wi-Fi. And basically I talked about some macros that we've been using, but probably in the course of the code I've been able to go through some, and then I'll be explaining them as we run this program, right? As we code along. So we're gonna touch them. So let's connect. Okay, so while that connects, so we're going to get our, where should we start from? Let's get our prototype first. So copy the prototype. Can you copy, please? Okay, good. So we're gonna reload this guy because it's gonna have frozen. Can you please reload? It's taking time. I should have done this earlier. So we'll copy this, and then if you look at it, okay, this one main.c. Okay, we only have one main.c here because we are creating just a file. Okay, I think this is the file name hello world, right? So we're creating this file hello world, right? ls-l, it has read write permission. So let's see. So I think this is it. It's going to collect the file name and then the content world, right? So when they did ls-l for file name, it says it has read write permission, and then when the cat hello, it's going to have world in it. So it doesn't have a new line, as you can see. All right. So let's see. Okay. So we'll cd into ALX. Why is it not working? Okay, it is working, but it's hanging. Okay. Okay. So here it's freezing. Let's Good. So here we are. So I'll vi my main dot h, and then let me copy this guy here. Okay. Alright, so I'll create my main dot c to test. So they still use arg c and arg v. So via one main dot c, and then paste this guy there. Okay, what next? The file name. One create file. I'll copy that. Right, and then the prototype. I'll copy this guy, and then we'll come here. Okay, and then insert, delete. So we're going to include main .h, and then we're going to document this guy. So create underscore file, right? This one will create a file and copy contents in it. Normally it's to write into a file. Okay, it's to create and write. Create and write into a file. So I want to dot this. Good. Alright, so the next one is at file name, right? The file name to be created, right? And then we have our text underscore content. I have to put at the end to make it work. And then this one will be what? The content to be copied into the file. So it's going to have a return, definitely. So I think it's going to return 1 if successful. Or -1 if failed. I'm not sure of this, but I think that's it. Okay. Alright, so let's see. Alright, so this guy now, what we do is like we did before. We are going to have 3 ints. As you can see, the return type is an integer. So we are going to have integer file descriptor. So we are going to have an integer, so number of letters, and then integer the write return, right? So we should have that. So we'll say if, as you can see, if the file name is the name of the where file name is the name, okay, file name cannot be created. Return 1 on success, -1 on failure. Where file name cannot be created, file cannot be written. Okay, the file must have this permission. If the file already exists, truncate. If file is null, return -1. Okay, and then if text content is null. So if file is null, let's start with that. So if we can say not file like we used the other time, so or if file name equals to null. Should we start from that? Sorry. You should return -1. Good. So the next thing we'll do is we'll open the file, right? So if file name equals to null, so let me instead of using file name equals to null, I think we've gone too far there because we've not even opened the file. So if it is not file name, I think that would work better. Yeah, this one will be better. All right. Okay, good. So we say if sorry, we'll open the file, but I'll pass it to the file descriptor, right? Because open will return -1 if it didn't open, right? So open this guy and we'll pass what? The file name. And what are we doing? We want to create a file, right? We want to create a file and then we want to write into it, right? We want to create a file, we want to write into it, and then if the file already exists, you should truncate it, okay? And you should set the permission to this. So we'll pass almost all that thing inside this open, okay? So we're saying we want to create it, so o_create. So this guy is used to create, okay? Create, I think it is creat for this guy, creat, yeah, like that. And then we pass it like this, and then you should be able to write only, and then we'll pipe it, and then o_truncate, that is delete whatever is there before, okay? So you can just trunc, I think it is o_trunc, and then comma. And then what do we want to do? We want to set its permission to read rw space. So it's obviously it is 600, right? I hope you know how we got this. So if you don't, you can just refresh your brain with the shell permission task. That should help you. So I think we're going to add 0 here. I don't know, I'm not too sure, but that might help. Probably we might remove it and see what it prints out, but let's see, let's try it. If you can remove it, let me know what it prints out for you. So this guy will return -1 if this file was unable to open, right? So we'll say that if sorry, yeah, so if our fd is equal to -1, right, you should return -1. Right? So good. So we're getting there. So if this if is this supposed to have space here? I can't remember again. If I'm not sure it's supposed to have space. Alright. Back to feeling sleepy. Okay, so if where is it? Okay, good. So we'll check if we've checked if the return is that. If what are we going to check? The content itself. So if text content that is here, right? So if our text underscore content, right? So we'll check if not text content. I think that will be better, right? And then end, then text underscore content is equal to, what are we going to initialize test content with? So let's see. If our ID is truncated, if our name is not, if test is not, create an empty file. So you should create an empty file, right? So we can say if text content is equal to null, right? So text content should be empty. So empty string, just like this. Okay. So that's the content. All right. So we want to write, right? But before that, like we did before, just for you to understand it, let me come down. There's still something that will be up. So I will just say our, what have we not used? We've not used n letters, have we? N letters, number of letters, we've not used it. We've not used return for write. Okay, so we'll write, do our write function, and you know our write collect 3 parameter, right? So which is the file descriptor, we have it there, comma, we have the number of letters, right? So we have the text content for now, text content, right? And number of letters that we want to, I think that should be there, right? So the content and then the number, right? So we've not set number of letters, we'll set it above. But before that, we'll then say if the RWR, that is what is printing out, right, is equals to -1, then it should return -1 as well. Okay, even if it is 2, because that will be standard error, right? And then at the end we'll close our FD. Normally it uses a pointer, but for this one we're not using pointer. And then at the end it should return 1. Return 1. So before that, we'll still do some extra things. So where's our right here? Okay, enter. Good. So what we'll do is, we want this text content now, right? We want to kind of let's say, okay, let me create a for loop here. So I'm gonna explain. Okay, and then for loop. If we have no arguments, we can do it this way, right? So say for I think our if will not have this space, we will not have that guy. We know when we compare, I can't remember. So for let's see. So we'll say for n letters is equal to 0. I've initialized it to 0 like that. Okay. So our text content, right? Our text content will be an array containing 0, which is n letters, right? So text content that's index 0, right? And then n letters plus plus. Okay, so this guy, we want to get how many we want to count, right? So text content 0, right, at index 0. So we're trying to get like a string length here. Okay, so which would be this guy, and then this guy can be passed to this right, and to help us know how many to want to print out from the text content, right, using right. So that's what we want to do. Okay, so that will be all for this. Let's see. So if I Betty one create, I should have one error. Good. So number 19, sorry, I remembered I had one error there. Okay, I've saved it. No error. Good. So let us compile it and see if we have all the necessary tools and if we did the right thing. So we just use compile, copy, paste. Oh, good. Wait, I think there's hello world. Okay, let's see. Okay, so let's do ls dash this. So rw, this one is good. So let's see, is there any other one? Cats. So it means it has written something inside hello, right? So let's see ls. So it has created hello for us, right? So if I cut our hello, we see word inside, right? So I think it is good this way. So let us see what happens if we remove that O from that from this guy. Where is it? One create. So let us try and remove this O for the permission. Open undo. So let's try and see what happens. Compile. It still runs. Let's see. Hello world, yes. So ls dash l. Okay, it still worked. And then cat hello, right? Cat hello. What? Okay, let us use this one that we created and see. So we are going to list, so git add our main.h, and then we'll git add our one create file, right? Git commit create a file and write into it. So it's to create a file and write into it, and then so I'm with some other flags anyway, and then we git push. So let us see if that works. If it works, that will be very great. So let us see. So we have one to fix. Okay, that might be it. Let us just check that. Vi one create. So there's one hint that you should know, is that when you over it, it says it is output fail, right? So it is not betting. So let me just try and see. if this will work. And create git commit, let's see the old commit, and then git push. Right, so let us test again and see. Probably it has effects on the other end. You see, just that is the problem. Alright, so I'll see you in the next one, which is a function that appends text to at the end of a file. So this time around, we're going to have a file, we're going to have the content we want to append, and then we'll read all these things and then append it. Right, so see you.